YouTube, how are we? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going through how to program your own push workout. So if you're fairly new to working out and you're not sure what a push workout is, push simply means we're essentially going to be training chest, triceps and shoulders. There's plenty of different ways that we can program a push workout. This isn't it. This isn't me saying this is the only way that we can program a push workout. In fact, I do 2 push sessions per week, and the layout of today's session is actually slightly different to the second push workout. So it's certainly not, this is it, no other way is acceptable, but this is just a nice basic setup of a push workout that you can try. It links with a blog post that I did a couple of months back, which I'll link below. So essentially we're going to go through that blog post but in slightly more in-depth form, and if you're a visual learner then obviously it will help to see the video form of that as well. So without further ado, I'm going to finish my warm-up and then we'll get straight into the session. Okay, exercise 1. So we are going to start out with a chest press. What we're looking to do here, we're going to have 2 different types of presses in this workout. We're going to start with a converging press, and at the very end of this session we're going to have a parallel press. So a converging press simply means that our hands are going to meet together at the top of the exercise. So this is one part to the puzzle of setting up an optimal chest press. So we know that we want that converging path, but we also want an upward arc, so we want the weight of our hands to finish higher than it started. So with this, I've got the pulleys set up down below shoulder height so that as I push up, my hands meet together, but I've also got my hands finishing higher than they started. With a converging press, the different places, kind of the different options that we've got, so we could do like a cable chest press like I'm about to go through. You could do like a dumbbell chest press. Obviously if you're going for a dumbbell chest press then your hands can meet together at the top. And then you're also left with certain machine chest presses, so pin loaded, plate loaded. Obviously what you need to be able to do is find one that is converging and has that upward arc. So not all machines are made equal in that sense. There's so many different things that go into play when it comes to a machine setup. Very basic way to look at a machine and first of all find out if it's got an upward arc is the rotation, to the point of rotation, to the axis of the machine, above your head or below your head. If it's above your head, you're going to be able to push up. If it's from below, you're going to find that it starts to push down as you go through. So that's the first way to find it out. Obviously then we've got to look at it and think, is this a converging press? So are my hands meeting together? That's going to most likely be the case, especially if it has an axis above your head. Most machines will converge, so bring your hands together, but it is something to look out for. So that is the first exercise that's going to be on our push day. Okay, we are on to the second exercise, so we're going to go in with a fly. Much like with the press, there's obviously plenty of different fly variations we can do here. And essentially this is going to be me ticking off chest work or predominant chest work for the day, minus the final parallel press at the end, which I'll run through, which is very chest heavy, but it is also very front delt and tricep heavy as well, so it's a good combination of all 3. Personally, I like to do my flies cuffed. I like to bring the weight further towards the shoulder I just see it as a slightly safer version of a fly where we've got the weight attached to the hands. I do like doing cable flies with D handles. I don't mind those as much. I'm not really a huge fan of dumbbell flies. I personally just think the risk to reward ratio doesn't really make it worth doing. Personal opinion, obviously we've all got different opinions, that's cool. So you're gonna see me run through a cuffed cable fly. With this, depending on where you've got that cable running through, is gonna show you what portion of the chest you're biasing, but please don't be fooled by Google posts and whatnot that say you're simply gonna be training the upper chest or the middle chest or the lower chest. If it's a chest exercise, all fibers of the chest are going to be doing work, but you can slightly bias certain portions of the chest. Obviously we've got those upper clavicular fibers, we've got those sort of mid-sternal fibers, which you're going to see me run through on this exercise, and then you've also got those lower sort of costal based fibers. So I'm going to go through this, and then that will be our main chest work done for the session. So we are going to go into the delt portion of the workout. So in terms of specific delt training, obviously we can bias the three different heads on the deltoid. So we've got that front part, the side part, and the posterior part. You're never ever going to see me isolating or solely training the front delt. You're never going to see me do any kind of a front raise. I've been there, I've done it, done it in the past. Whenever you do any kind of a press, even like flies, whether that's a shoulder press or any kind of a chest press, any kind of chest flies, you're going to be training the front delt. It's very, very rare that I come across somebody where we actually need to train that front delt, because it's always getting hit in those pressing based movements. And oftentimes actually if you then go on to train some sort of a front raise, you're actually most likely just overtraining it. We want to look at two areas. We want to look at that lateral deltoid and we want to look at that posterior deltoid. Posterior deltoid, whenever you train it, you're doing a pull-in movement, so I personally put that on my pull days. I have been through phases where actually I've trained it on a push day, because in my mind I was like, well, it's delt, so I'll throw it in on this push day. Ultimately, where you place it is more down to what works for yourself. You're just not going to see me do that today because it doesn't work for me at the moment in terms of my training layout. So you're only going to see me do 2 exercises today for delts, and both of them are going to be hitting the lateral portion. So we're going to start out here. We're going to do a set of dumbbell lateral raises. We're then going to go over to the cable machine and do 2 sets of lying cuff flies. And then come back over here after that for my last set, so the 4th lateral delt set of the day. And we're going to finish off with some dumbbell lateral raises. Now, you are most likely thinking that that setup is very odd. It's all done for a reason. So what we're going to do with this first set here is I've picked out a weight that allows me to hold every single rep at the top portions where my arm is out to my side for 2 seconds. We're going to do around about 12 to 15 reps of that. Every single rep has got to have that 2-second hold at the top. I want to really start to work that shortened portion of the lift, so where my arm is out here, so basically where I'm weakest. I want to really put some focus on having a set that is dedicated to really hitting that area. We're then going to go over to the cables and do those lying cuff flies. The way that that's set up means that there's a nice profile on those so that as you get weaker, the weight drops off. So we can have those down the middle of the workout, the profile's perfect. We're then going to come back over here for that last set where we're going to have some slightly heavier dumbbells, and you're going to see me keep perfect form. I'm not going to do any kind of swinging or anything like that. I'm going to start out by taking the dumbbell all the way out to the side, but obviously at this point I'm incredibly fatigued. So you're then going to see that towards the final few reps of that set, I'm really only just getting in some minor partial reps. And that's fine, because the top portion where my arm is out here, I'm completely fatigued. I can't get my arm out there anymore. But I've still got some room to give down here. So we'll go through those final few partials. Again, not swinging. And that way I've just completely exhausted that lateral delt. So there's always a reason for the positioning of my exercises. If you're new to training and you don't have to go into things that much, if you've got a coach, then they might be able to help you with that kind of thing. But obviously, for the beginner client, pick out 2 lateral exercises, lateral delt exercises, give them your all. This stuff does have its place, and like I say, coaches and whatnot should be able to guide you on those things, but if you're by yourself, training by yourself, I was in that position before, that kind of knowledge would not really have meant much to me at all. And I just wanted to pick out 2 lateral delt exercises, so we're going to get on with that. One more. Okay, we can now go in with our lying cuff lateral raises. So we've got a good profile here. Weight's gotten heavier here, lighter up here, which is good because down here I'm stronger, and up here I'm weaker. So we've got a nice profile going on there. Okay, so last set. Again, no swinging here. We're not going to let form dip, but we are going to allow ourselves to continue the movement even once we're not getting a full range of motion. Okay, we are on to the tricep portion of the session. Everyone loves a good arm workout. Obviously no biceps today, but it's time to get some triceps in. So again, just like the delts, we're going to do 2 exercises. First exercise I'm going to go through is a single arm cable skull crusher, and then we're going to go through some dual cable crossover push downs. So we'll get on with this first one. Okay, we've got the last tricep exercise, so we're going to go in with a dual cable tricep push down. So we're going to take the cable in the opposite hand to the side that it's coming from, keep the shoulders nice and depressed, slightly in forwards, then we're going to kick out our hands to the sides. Okay, we are on to the last exercise of the workout. So this is going to be our parallel press. So a parallel press simply means that your hands are going to stay in the same position throughout the movement as they started. So they're staying in that same line. The reason that we're putting this in last is because a parallel press compared to a converging press isn't as skill-based. Obviously, skill is affected by fatigue. So we wanted to have that conversion press in there first, and then to finish off we can have this parallel press, and the reason that it's also a really good finisher is because parallel presses generally dig into a wider range of muscles. So yes, with that converging press we had some front delt, we had some tricep work going on in there. With this parallel press that I'm going to show you, which is going to be simply a dumbbell parallel press, or if you were to do, for example, a barbell press, which is parallel, because obviously your hands are stuck to that bar, they're not moving anywhere, or a push-up, we're actually getting a far wider range of muscles involved in those exercises. So it's really good to have in at the end of the session when you just want to basically finish everything off, just completely annihilate everything. So again, I'm going to do a dumbbell chest press, but I'm going to purposefully keep the dumbbells in that same line the whole time. Obviously, other things that you could do is a cable parallel press, so exactly the same exercise as I did at the beginning. It's just that instead of bringing your hands together, you're just going to push and keep them through in that same path of motion. Again, barbell, that would be a parallel press. You could throw that in at the end, or push-ups, which, if I'm being completely honest with you, I think push-ups is probably my favourite parallel press. I don't know why I took it out before I went into this training block, but I can confirm that it's planned to go into my next training block because it's my favourite parallel press, and I genuinely don't know why I took it out. So much like that last set of dumbbell lateral raises, with this it's a case of simply just going until I literally cannot go anymore. So the last good few reps that you're going to see are not going to be for a full range at all. What you're also going to notice as well is I am going to have a band attached to me as well, just to slightly complicate things even more, so that it's heavier at the top, and then we've got that slight drop off at the bottom. In terms of a dumbbell choice here, it does not need to be much weight at all. We're basically going to be going in with a higher rep set here, like I say, just go until we can't go anymore. I've also got that band in to make it heavier in certain portions of the lift. So just a bit of perspective on what I'm using here, I'm actually just going to be using some 12.5 kilo dumbbells. You really don't need to be ego lifting here at all, there's no place for it. This is just about getting some slightly lower weight in there for higher reps and just go until you can't go anymore. Okay, workout completed. So to finish this video off, I'm going to run through very quickly basically everything that was covered within this video. So with this push session, we're going to be starting out with a conversion press, which quite simply means that we are bringing our hands together as we push through the movement. So we're looking at something like a converging cable chest press or a dumbbell chest press where we're forcefully bringing our hands together at the top. And also plenty of other machine-based chest presses out there which you will find will allow you to bring your hands together. We then went into a fly. Personally, like I say, I like to do mine with cuffs, but I'm also not against doing them on a cable machine with some D-handle attachments. Obviously, dumbbell flies exist. If you want to give them a go, then obviously it's a free country and you are welcome to. We then went into 2 different lateral raises. Obviously, I did the very, very fancy and geeky setup based on anatomy and profiles and whatnot. But to keep it nice and simple, if you're just starting out on your journey of working out, pick 2 different lateral raises, give them a go, see if you like them. Lateral raises, we're obviously looking to bias the lateral portion of the deltoid, but we have also got that front deltoid to think about, which if you're doing any kind of pressing movement, it's going to get hit through that. And then we've got the posterior deltoid. Like I say, I personally like to target that on pull days. We then went into 2 tricep exercises. Obviously there's so many different options when it comes to arm workouts, and I didn't dive into them in this video because I didn't want to go too nerdy in this video. I know that I went through that very nerdy bit about the delts and the raises there, but I thought that will probably do for this video. There was reasons behind why I chose those 2 exercises, and I've covered those before in previous videos and on Instagram and whatnot, so head back to some previous stuff and you'll likely find out about those exercises there. And then finally we went in with that parallel press. So parallel just means that your hand is staying in that same plane as you go through the exercise. So we can forcefully create a parallel press on something like a cable machine or with dumbbells where, like I said, we can think about keeping that hand in that same position and not converging. Or we can put ourselves onto like a fixed parallel press, which you can find on some machines. But then also you've got the option of using a barbell or, my personal favourite, a push-up. So that is how I design my push days. And like I said at the beginning, that's actually how I design one of my push days. There's other options out there. That's just a good foundation and a template to use for yours. I will link the blog post down below so that this entire video is in written format. Any questions, please leave them down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and as always, I will see you all in the next one.